much of the acre shift will be seen between cotton, wheat, corn, and beans? We're going to see cotton acreage in the south, Texas, and even the Oklahoma area. There are people talking shifting cotton. Anybody know anybody's going to shift cotton to beans this year? We're seeing guys going to shift beans and cotton to beans, or cotton, and they're going to shift corn to beans in the south. So I see a lot of acreage shift to beans in the south. I see shift to beans in the north. In North Dakota, they're going to plant beans instead of corn or peas. From Ohio to Nebraska, I don't sense as a major shift. I sense some shift, but not a bigger shift. How many people here are going to plant more corn this year? 2. How many people are going to plant more beans? 3. That's almost exactly percentage-wise I've seen every meeting I've done. 5 or 10% is going to produce more corn. 5 or 10%, 15 are going to produce more beans. So overall, it's just a smidgen more beans in the heart of the corn belt. But when you get down south and up north, that percentage jumps. So that would suggest that the corn acres are not going to be as dramatic as Sparks is suggesting. That's the risk. The risk is that trade's thinking 3.2, but I think the farmer's thinking, well, a little, but not a lot. Okay, that's one of the debates. How much demand rationing have we seen? Which I'll talk about. Ethanol in feed. Is there really about supply destruction, which is, i.e., we're not going to plant? How will inflation play into the investors? How will they continue to put money in those spiders in the stock, in the commodity markets, even though they haven't been totally profitable, but they're going to come into commodities because it's perceived as limited loss compared to upside potential when this inflation does kick in. And the big X factor. What surprises does Obama have for us in agriculture? And it really comes down to two things. One, ethanol, and how does he play that? Does he increase the mandates from 10 to 13? Right now we've got about 13 billion gallons of ethanol capacity, but we mandate 10.4, and with the gasoline price and fuel price so low, ethanol cannot survive at this time. That's why you're seeing ethanol plants go bankrupt, okay, and be bought out by other people. Predominantly, I've been hearing the oil industry. Surprise, surprise. They let somebody else buy it, and they're going to buy it at 10 cents on the dollar, type stuff. A pretty good financial move, I'd say, myself, is that they're now going to be in the ethanol business. But will the government policy shift in reference to these volumetric and Excel? And I can't accentuate to you the importance of you working with your legislators to make sure that you let them know that if they take those supports away from us, corn prices are going to crash at least $1 or more. Okay? And basis will widen. So ethanol is a two-pronged effect. It could widen the basis and the flat price. So you put those two factors together, and it just basically says all corn producers are now going to be operating at variable costs. They're not going to be able to cover a variable NB pellet fix, and that will attract acres. It says we'll have to attract. And so the question is, what do we go to? Okay, everybody's mad about corn acres being used for corn, and we're using corn for energy. Okay, what are you going to give me an alternative to make? Maybe something else. Well, the vegetarians all want us to get rid of beef, so we're going to all start eating hay, I guess. So what's the prices? And here, I guess that's why I like working with pro-farmer people. They're very good at Washington, keeping us in tune to what's happening out there. So my current estimated outcome is Sparks is in this area. I'm someplace right between 82 and 83. I'm anticipating the February supply-demand report. Right now, we're 1.8 billion bushel carryover. Corn exports are running 40% behind year-ago levels. Ethanol projections with ethanol plant shutting I think you could lose another 150 million in corn usage in ethanol plants. So all of a sudden, I think the odds are about 70 to 80% probability that corn carryover in the next 3 to 4 months is going to go to 2 billion bushel. Carryover is going to increase, not decline. Now, if you get more supply out there in the bins, and you have your crop unsowed, and you're holding unpriced, and inventory is increasing, does that make the market go higher? No. See, the problem is I'm sensing more, I'm getting more and more bearish I do these meetings because you guys are telling me you got more and more inventory on price. And you're holding it, and you're holding it, and now I think everybody like to play Texas Hold'em? You're the short chip, and I got all the coins in front of me. You're pot committed, you got to throw your money in, hoping to draw a lucky card. The lucky card is weather. So at the best case scenario, if we have 153, I'm putting 153 yield, I'm assuming a little wet weather, a little El Nino. I heard one guy talking about solar activity, which basically increases and a reduction in solar activity is going to cause cool spring. Anyway, I'm going to throw in where it sparks is at 159. I don't even want to talk 159 yields. I don't even go there. So I'm assuming some crop stress, some lower crop, about this year's crop. But I'm getting down here, and I'm going to even assume that feed usage does not go down anymore. That livestock utilization stays pretty much where it's at, even though the hog numbers are contracting, and poultry is contracting. But I'm going to make an assumption that it's not going to contract, which I'm probably being too optimistic on. I've already lowered my carryover, my feed usage on ethanol from 4.2 to 3.8. And that's probably 3.39 is probably where it's going to end up. Exports is the one variable that we can be wrong if it starts because the freight rates are cheap, the dollar's cheap. If we start seeing some economic correction, this is where we'll probably be wrong. And that's why we have to watch exports. But I don't from here on to summer, seasonal exports always decline. So you really won't see a real strong rush of exports and corn exports until next fall. So I can't really be any surprise. So the only surprise that fundamentally can have is in the yield. You've got to get an absolute 1988 crop disaster to get 550 corn now. Okay? If you want to argue $5.50, $6 corn, you got to argue a weather disaster and one of the biggest economic recoveries in the history of mankind. Okay? That's it. If you want to argue it, that's what your bet is. If you're that strong a bet, I would argue bet it on paper. Don't bet it 100% in the grain bin. That's the worst. That's the best case. The worst case is we have 2 billion bushel carryover this time next year. 2 billion bushel corn is essentially $3 cash corn, which will be driving producers out of production, which rations it down, which sets the stage for a bullish long-term market recovery.